My name is Grace Miller, and the night I watched my husband's heart shatter started like any other. A quiet evening that should have ended in peace but instead turned into a memory that will never stop haunting me. My husband, Ethan, was the kind of man who never raised his voice, never demanded anything, and never stopped trying to make life a little easier for everyone around him. We'd been married for 8 years, built a modest but happy home, and weathered our share of storms. But that night, I let my frustrations speak louder than love. It began with something small, a missed dinner, a forgotten message. Ethan had promised to be home early to help me prepare for a work presentation I was nervous about, but a last-minute project kept him late. When he finally walked through the door, tired but smiling, I didn't see the effort he'd made. I only saw what I wanted to be angry about. "You always say you'll be here," I snapped, "but you never are when I need you." He paused, setting his bag down slowly. "Grace," I tried to call. The meeting ran over. I cut him off. "There's always an excuse, isn't there? Work, meetings, clients. Maybe you should just marry your job." I still remember how the light in his eyes dimmed a little then, but I was too wound up to stop. He tried to approach me, to put a hand on my shoulder, but I stepped back. "Don't," I said sharply. "You're never here anyway. Maybe you like it better there than with me." That sentence, that single cruel sentence, was the one that broke him. I didn't mean it, not really. It came from exhaustion and bitterness, not truth. But as soon as I said it, I saw something in him change. His hand fell to his side, and he looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Not anger, not disappointment, but pure heartbreak. "Grace," he whispered, his voice trembling, "do you really believe that?" The silence that followed was unbearable. I wanted to take the words back, to tell him I didn't mean them, but pride and guilt trapped me. "Maybe I do," I said quietly, even though I didn't. He nodded slowly, swallowed hard, and said, "Then I guess I've failed you in ways I didn't even see." He walked past me without another word and went into the study, closing the door behind him. I stood there in the kitchen, surrounded by the dinner I'd cooked but no longer wanted, and felt a coldness spread through me. For the first time in our marriage, I realized that silence could be louder than shouting. The next morning, Ethan was gone before I woke up. He'd left a note on the table. "I need some time to think." It wasn't angry, just sad, and that made it worse. Days passed, and the house felt heavier with every hour. I replayed that argument over and over, wishing I could undo it. I called, texted, emailed. He didn't answer. Finally, after a week, he came home. He looked exhausted, older somehow. We sat across from each other at the dining table, the same spot where it had all started. "I thought about what you said," he began softly, "and I realized that maybe I've been giving too much of myself to work. But when you said I liked being there more than being with you, Grace, that broke me. Because being with you has always been the best part of my life." I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. "I didn't mean it," I whispered. "I was just angry and hurt." He nodded, eyes glistening. "I know. But sometimes one sentence can leave a scar that takes a long time to fade." That night, we talked for hours, not about blame, but about the small cracks that had built up between us. We both apologized, both promised to do better. It wasn't easy, and it didn't fix everything overnight, but it was a start. Over the months that followed, we rebuilt what I had almost destroyed. We learned to listen before reacting, to pause before speaking, to treat love like something fragile, because it is. Sometimes I still wake up in the middle of the night and hear his voice in my head, that quiet question, "Do you really believe that?" It reminds me to never let anger speak for love again. One argument, one sentence, that's all it took to remind me that hearts don't always break with noise. Sometimes, they break in silence, with words you wish you could swallow the moment they leave your mouth. I'll never forget the look in his eyes that night, the look that taught me the true weight of my own voice, and how easily love can shatter if you stop choosing it every single day.